it's Hailey, and today is Bookmas Day 1, so I'm going to be talking about my December TBR. Bookmas 2019 has officially arrived. Happy December. I hope you guys are excited for the Christmas or holiday season. I know that I definitely am, and I'm so excited for the start of Bookmas. So if you don't know what it is, I will link the announcement video down below for you guys. But basically, over the course of December, I'm going to be doing 21 videos, and this is the first of them. So let's talk about what I'm hoping to read in December. December is kind of an interesting reading month for me because it will count toward my 2020 reading. I cut off my reading year at the end of November because of Bookmas, so everything that I read this coming month will count towards 2020. I'll talk about that a little bit more in my next Bookmas video, which is going to be going over my favorites of 2019, but for this month, I'm hoping to read some Christmassy books, as well as a couple books that I didn't get the chance to get to in November, but I'm definitely going to be prioritizing the Christmassy books, obviously, because there's only really one time of year that I can read them in. So I'm going to start off with the books that actually aren't Christmassy, because that is the smaller part of this list. So first is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the finale to the Scythe series. I wish that I had gotten the chance to read the arc that I had, but I didn't end up getting to it, so I'm going to listen to the audiobook for this, and I'm trying to do it before December, but with how busy I am, I don't know if that's actually going to happen, so that's why I'm including it in this TBR, but if I can get to it, that would be absolutely stellar. But if you guys haven't picked up the Scythe series yet, I definitely encourage you to do so because it is awesome. It's very cool, a dark sort of dystopian utopia sort of thing. It's just great. Next is another sequel, and that is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This actually isn't out when I'm filming this video, but I read Skyward last December and I really loved it, so if I could get to the sequel this time of year, maybe it'll be like an annual tradition for the series that I read it every December around Christmas time. It's like a big sci-fi book, which isn't generally what I gravitate towards in December, but I had so much fun reading the first one last year that I think I will definitely like the second one if I do decide to read it before Christmas, but it kind of depends on my mood because I don't want to push myself to read something that is going to take me a long time. I want to enjoy the festive season. Next is Winter Garden by Kristin Hanna. I cannot find my copy for the life of me. It is somewhere, I just don't know where, but it's definitely somewhere. Like, I didn't unhaul it or anything, but this is a dual timeline story by the author of The Nightingale, which is one of my favorite books of all time. Actually, I think it was my #1 book of 2018, if I remember correctly. But this book is set partially in Russia in World War II, and it is a love story that is told between 1941 and 2000. So it's a mother telling her story of survival during World War II and trying to repair her relationship with her estranged daughters. I loved The Nightingale so much that I think this would be a really great book. I'm hoping it's not too heavy for Christmas. It might be a little bit, but the family aspect of it does make me think that it might be perfect for this season, but if it is kind of sad, I might put it down and pick it up another time. And the final not Christmassy book is The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. This is an adult romance that is about this girl who grew up in Alaska, but she left Alaska and she's very happy about it. She lives in Toronto, but she ends up returning to Alaska because her father, who still lives there, might be dying. So while she's there, she meets this guy who has no intent of leaving Alaska, and they end up kindling a romance, which is kind of complicated because she doesn't want to stay in Alaska and he doesn't want to leave, so it's just kind of doomed from the beginning. Once again, if this is too sad, I might put it down. I want kind of happy things for the festive season, even though I included 2 kind of sad books on my TBR, but I've heard so many great things about this romance author, so I want to see what she's all about. So now it is time for the Christmassy books that I'm hoping to get to. So the first one is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. I read Dash and Lily's Book of Dares last year, and I read it for my 24-hour Christmas readathon that I did last year, so I'm planning on reading this one for my 24-hour Christmas readathon this year. I actually really loved the first book, like way more than I was expecting to. I thought it was super fun, a cute bookish Christmas romance. Like, it's everything a book lover could want for the holidays. It was excellent. So definitely check it out if you haven't yet, but this is a sequel, which is once again really short, so it's perfect for that 24-hour readathon day. But in this book, Lily has been through some things. She's kind of having a bit bit of a rough time. So it's 12 days leading up to Christmas, and Christmas in New York City, it's the perfect setting. So Dash and their friends decide to try and bring her holiday spirit back around, and they have 12 days to do so. I'm actually super excited to read this book, and I hope I enjoy it as much as I did the last one. Next is 10 Blind Dates by Elston. I have been saving this for Christmas, and I can't wait to get to it because it sounds like the setup for an amazing book. It is set over Christmas break, and it follows the main character who has just been through a breakup. She thought that she was going to spend the Christmas season with her boyfriend, and then he ends up breaking up with her. So she's like, well, guess that's not happening. So she goes to visit her extended family, and her grandma comes up with this plan where they are all going to plan out these 10 blind dates for her. So over the course of Christmas break, she's going to be going on all of these dates that have been planned by her loved ones. One of them is like, I think she has to play Mary in a nativity scene. Like, it just sounds like a recipe for hilarity, but also so much Christmas fun. This is probably going to be the first book that I will pick up this December because I'm just so excited for it. Next is One Day in December by Josie Silver. So this is about love at first sight on a snowy day in December, and the main character makes it her mission to try and find this guy again because she literally just saw him at a bus stop and the bus was leaving, so she never actually got to talk to him, and she ends up unexpectedly reuniting with him, but that is because one of her best friends introduces him as her boyfriend. So I know this deals with a pretty large period of time, and I don't believe it's all set at Christmas time either, and I'm kind of getting, what's that movie? I think it's Love, Rosie. I know it's a book as well by Celia Ahern, I believe, but I just watched the movie recently and I really enjoyed it, but it's also like just so angsty, and I think that's what this is going to be, is just all of the angst and all of that stuff. And even though it's not all set in December, they do meet in December, or like meet, and then they end up re-meeting at a Christmas party, so it still feels appropriate for the month. Next is Hiddensee by Gregory Maguire. This is the author of Wicked, which I haven't read the book, but I have seen the musical and I love it so much. And he also wrote After Alice, which was an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and I loved that one. And this is a Nutcracker retelling. So Gregory Maguire actually specializes in retellings. I don't think I've seen anything by him that isn't a retelling. Now, I actually read the Nutcracker by Eta Hoffmann last year, and I kind of want to get an illustrated copy of it because I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I had had maybe some illustrations or a visual element accompanying the story, just because I'm used to the ballet, so I'm used to seeing the story, and reading it, I was a little bit bored, but I'm definitely very intrigued by a retelling of it. I don't think I've ever read one or heard of one. I could be forgetting something, but I think it'll be an interesting story to do a retelling of, and this like creeps me out for some reason. I can't really explain why, but I'm definitely super intrigued to see what he is going to do with this classic. Next is 25 Days Till December by Poppy Alexander. This was 1000% an impulse buy. I was shopping for Christmas gifts and I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, an adult romance that is Christmas themed with a cute Christmassy cover. I need it. So I got it. But upon further research, this actually seems like it's going to be a pretty heavy Christmas story. So it follows Kate, and Kate used to be obsessed with Christmas. It was her favorite time of year, but she's not like that anymore since her husband left for the war and never ended up coming back. So now she's left with her son, and she is determined to make this Christmas the best Christmas ever for him. So she does that by creating this awesome advent calendar, which is where the cover inspiration comes from. How cute. Now, obviously there's going to be some romance along the way, but honestly, the synopsis doesn't really say that much about the romance. So I guess I will read it and find out. I think it's going to be a beautiful sort of family Christmas story, and I'm very excited to check it out. And finally is Love and Other Train Wrecks by Leah Konen. This is, I don't think exactly Christmas themed, but it is set during a snowstorm, so that feels appropriate. And it is a 24-hour story that takes place when both of these characters are on a train going to upstate New York, and there ends up being this giant snowstorm and the train gets stuck. So we have two characters, Noah, who is an absolute hopeless romantic, and Amy, who doesn't believe in that because her parents don't exactly set the best example for her in terms of romance, but they end up teaming up together to try and get where they need to go, even though this train has broken down. I'm getting vibes of The Sun Is Also a Star for sure, and also The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody, which is kind of a Christmassy themed romance story, but both of those are set over the course of a very short period of time. I think they're both 24 hours, and the element of having this train stopping and just, it feels romantic, and the snowstorm, it's just setting the perfect mood, and I'm excited to read it. So those are all of the books books that I am hoping to get to in December. Hopefully I will be able to get to at least all the Christmas books that I have, since they are seasonal. I can't really read them in July. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I like to save them for December, and I don't want them to be on my TBR forever, so if I could get to them this year, that would be awesome. But please do let me know what you are planning on reading in December, as well as if you have read any of these books, your thoughts on them. It really helps me to prioritize what I should read first. So I hope you enjoyed Bookmas Day 1. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, then click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post, because 21 videos are going out in December and you don't want to miss any of them. You can also follow me on all of my social media, all of my handles, and links will be down below for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!